off now than you were 4 years ago? I don't think so. I'm here today with a message of hope for all Americans. With your vote in this election, could you imagine 7 days? We, not me, we will end inflation. We will stop the invasion of criminals coming into our country, and we will bring back the American dream. We're going to bring it back. We're going to bring it back. We're going to bring it back so big and so beautiful. Our country will be bigger. Our country will be better and bolder and richer and safer and stronger than ever before. This election is a choice between whether we will have 4 more years of incompetence and failure, or whether or not we will begin the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. You know, we're starting from a little bit of a negative. We're starting with a little bit of a negative. They have 13,099 murderers released into our country. They have tens of thousands of criminals released. 21 million people released into our country over the last few years. We have no idea who the hell they are, where they come from. It was open borders policy of Kamala, not a great policy, not a wise. Does anybody like the idea of open borders for the world to come in? No? She loves it. I don't think she likes. She does. I don't think she knows what the hell she's doing. With your support on November 5th, you know what's nasty to me? Michelle Obama. She was, ooh. I always tried to be so nice and respectful. Oh, she opened up a little bit of a box. She opened up a little bit of something. Oh, she was nasty. Ooh. Shouldn't be that way. That was a big mistake that she made. With your support on November 5th, we will achieve success that no one can imagine. We will have the strongest economy, the most secure borders, the safest cities, the most powerful military, the best trade deals. We will dominate the frontiers of science, medicine, business, technology, and space. And I'm asking you to be, for the first time in 4 years, to be excited about the future of our country again. Be excited. We're going to turn it around for us. But with that, I say this, our country can't stand another 5 months of this because we're going to lose it. We're going to lose it. We got to get this thing done. And I do hear the votes are coming in very nicely. That's what I'm hearing, like to a level that nobody can believe. A level that nobody can believe. And I'm asking you to dream big again. And this will be America's new golden age. We're going to have a golden age. And hard to believe after the 4 years, almost 4 years of what we've gone through. It's hard to believe I can even say that. Some people would say, he's got to be crazy. No, we're going to have a golden age. It's going to happen fast, too. We are the party of common sense. Remember, we are the party of common sense. You know, conservative, we're not a two. We're the party of common sense. We don't want transgender operations all over the place. We don't want open borders. We don't want men playing in women's sports. How's that going to work? You know, that's a big thing, the men play. And yet, I've been doing this for quite a while. I used to say, I've never done this before. I used to get up in my first 6 months, I say, well, look, I never did this before. You know, I had a good excuse. We have no excuse. But I'll tell you, nobody's ever come up to me and said, sir, it's really important to me. Would you do me a favor? Would you let men play in women's sports? Nobody's ever said it. They've asked me for a lot of things. They've asked me for better energy prices, lower cost of eggs and salad and everything, anything you can imagine. Nobody's ever said, please, sir, it's so important. Please let men play in women's sports. It's so important. I've never had anybody ask me about the transgender. Is such a big deal, but nobody said, could you do us a favor? Could you let it be much easier for men to be able to transition into women? Nobody said that to me. Now, I'm sure there's somebody, but nobody has said it to me. And if really, does anybody here think that we should do that and make it real easy? And nobody said, sir, it's really, really important that we have open borders and we allow criminals from every country in the world to pour into our country. That we allow prisoners and drug dealers and terrorists and human traffickers to pour into our country, sir. This is very important to us. What the hell are these people doing? They're destroying our country. Nobody wants this. I think we're going to get a really big vote. I think we're going to get a lot of Democrats voting for us. You know, one thing, I'll say it to you because, you know, we're almost finished with this campaign. Can you believe it? We've been doing this together for 9 years, if you think about it, right? For 9 years. We've had the greatest, look, up in the little tiny corners of this big place. We've had the greatest rallies in the history of the world, not just this country. There's never been, I mean, we filled up Madison Square Garden last night. We could have filled it up 10 times. If you looked outside, you saw all the way back to the Hudson River. There's never been anything like it. I tell all my people that are working for me, maybe they'll come with us because they did a good job, but the ones that won't, they want to stay in the campaign business. I say it's going to be very tough. In 4 years from now, you'll have a candidate and you'll have an event and they'll draw 250 people. That's what normal would be. If the best, I don't want to use names, but the best politician came here and so-and-so is coming here, I'd love to use a name that everybody loves, like Ronald Reagan. We love Ronald Reagan. I'll use it anyway. Why not? You'd have 300 or 400 people going to a ballroom someplace, and it would be very acceptable. You're not going to have 15, 20,000 people. It doesn't happen. This is a unique situation. It's a unique point in time. It's Make America Great Again. It's the greatest political movement of all time. But we have a lot of such great people. We have such great people. Thank you. Look at this giant, look at the corners, people sitting in the corners. You always know if you're doing well when every little corner with those crummy seats up there, they're gone too. But every problem facing us can be solved. But now the fate of our nation is in your hands, and that's so true. Ay, ay, ay. What a rotten job. She's grossly incompetent. She's more incompetent than Biden, and I didn't think that was possible. Next Tuesday, you have to stand up and you have to tell Kamala Harris that you've had a terrible, terrible run, that you've hurt our country very badly. You've let murderers into our country and drug dealers. You've let human traffickers in. You've let terrorists into our country. You've accepted people from mental institutions and from jails. You've accepted some of the worst criminals in the world into our country. You're going to say, please say it, sir. I say, I will. Kamala, you're fired. Get out of here. Get out of here. Yeah. No. Be nice. Be nice. You know, they used to say that with Hillary, and I'd always go, relax, take it easy. We're going to win. We're going to win, Brandon. We're going to win. Just please relax. They would do it. Every time I'd mention her name, they'd scream, lock her up, lock her up. And then the fake news. That's a lot of fake news. Look at that. That's a lot, Bruce, isn't it, huh? It's a lot of fakers back there. But no, you know that's true. I'd say, easy, we're going to win, we're going to win. Then we won. And then they really went when they said, lock her up, lock her up, lock her up. They screamed, I'd say, easy, we won. We're going to have unity. I could have locked her up, but I didn't want to lock her up. She's the wife of the President of the United States previously, and and she was Secretary of State. I said, that would be so terrible for our country. And then they try and do it to me. Isn't it terrible? Even in this area, you have Fani, F-A-N-I, Willis. I don't even know what it's all about. A lot of the people, they hurt a lot of people, good people. Fani and her boyfriend, whatever the hell his name is, Wade. He was an expert on this. Did you have any communication with the White House? No. I had none. Turned out he was there many days coordinating with justice. I call it coordinating with the Injustice Department. No, I thought it would have looked terrible to take Hillary Clinton. Could have locked her up. She did so many bad things, but wouldn't that be terrible? Then I come into office, and we did it all right too. We did it right. We didn't do anything wrong. They went after their political opponent. They went after their political opponent, and they made me more popular. Can you believe it? They made me more popular. I've been investigated more than the late, great Alphonse Capone. This was not a nice person. He would take that tough guy to dinner right there. He's a tough guy, I know him. He'd take him to dinner. If Alphonse didn't like him, he was gone. He'd be in the foundation of a building somewhere. They'd never find him. And Al Capone wasn't investigated as much as me. How about my family? I have the greatest family, and they're constantly getting subpoenaed. Constantly. Eric Trump, he's the king. He's a king. He's a good kid. He's an innocent kid. He gets a subpoena every day. Nancy Pelosi, a total thief. Think of it. She has, I think it was Visa, wasn't it, Marjorie? Visa stock. She owns a lot of Visa stock. She started off with nothing. He had nothing too. Now she's worth like $200 million or something. I'm always proud to say that I lost a hell of a lot of money doing this, but I'm proud to do it because I would not even think about it. This is the greatest thing. We're going to make the country great again. I got so many people. They're rich. Who the hell cares? I'm rich as hell. I don't give a damn. I lost billions. But think of this. Oh, the things I could have done. I could have made deals. I just don't want to do it. You know, it's such an honor to be president. I don't care if it costs you a couple of $1 billion, more than that. But think of this. She's got a big position in Visa. I don't know much about Visa, but she sold her position. That was okay, except the following day, they announced that Visa is going to be indicted or something bad's going to happen to them by the Department of Justice. Does anything happen? Nothing happens. They sold a day before the news came out, and she walked away, and then the stock, I assume, went down like a rock, right? What a disgraceful. And then she sits back, oh, we're going to do this or that. He's not a great American. Let me tell you, we are great Americans. The people in this room are great Americans. This man right here is a great American. We got a lot of great Americans in this room. Early voting is underway in Georgia until November 1st, and boy, do I hear we're doing good, but I can't look. I don't want to say it because I want you to keep going. We got to finish it off, you know? It's like I see these guys in a baseball game. They're going to win, and they get nice and complacent, and then they get their ass kicked in the last inning. I see the golfers walking down with a comfortable lead, and he said, oh, this is an easy game. This is so, and they ends up losing a turn. We can't do that. We just got to focus. Everybody get out. Could I take a free poll? You know, pollsters charge you a lot of money for stuff for nothing. I'm sure they actually don't interview anybody. We interview 2,000 people. They probably, these are minor details. But I never complain when we're leading, and we're leading almost. But we do a free poll. I want to do a free poll. So, who has voted already? Yet, but will. Just you have a lot of early voters, and you have a lot because we have a 50-50. So the rest of you have to get out and vote. We're leading by a lot, but get out and vote. We can't take any chances, right? Most important thing you can do, we're going to make our country great again. We're going to make America great again, but get out and vote. With your help, 8 days from now, we're going to defeat Kamala. You know, she's not a nice person. Does anybody know that she is not a nice person? In case you had any ideas. Did you see she used the F word the other day? She thought she was talking without a camera on. She used the F word. Did you see that? Oh, it's terrible. If that ever happened to me, it would have been front page headlines. Oh boy. No, they got her using the wrong word, camera. She should be admonished for doing that, don't you agree? How about when her teleprompter clogged up on her? You know, it happens a lot. She was saying there are 32 days left, right? You know, she was at well, right now there's 7 days left. Can you believe it? So, a few weeks ago, she had her teleprompter going blazing because she can't talk without a teleprompter. So, she's up there, and she got there are 32. It stopped. I knew immediately. It stopped. There are 32. 32. She was gone. 30. She said it like 5 times. 32. Boom. Then it kicked in. Oh, did she get lucky? She got so lucky. But we're going to win back that beautiful White House, and we are going to indeed make America great again. We're going to do it fast. And I'm running a campaign of solutions to save our country. Kamala is running a campaign of demonization and hate. She really does. She's a hater. She's a hater. She was a lousy attorney general. She was a lousy DA, horrible DA. She used to prosecute Republicans. She went after Republicans all the time. I know the feeling, but she used to go after Republicans. I had a friend who had a terrible thing happen to him, and family member, horrible thing. She went in, and he went in, and having to do with her daughter, they went in to see her when she was, I think, the Attorney General or DA, but I think the Attorney General. And it was very serious. A very serious crime was committed. When she heard that he was a Republican, she refused to see him. The meeting was all set up. Then she heard he was a Republican, and she said, I'm not seeing him. It's a disgrace. That guy hates her beyond anybody that I've ever seen. Remember when Crooked Hillary called Americans deplorable and irredeemable? You know, I watched that speech. I said, that's pretty bad. I thought the irredeemable was worse than deplorable. When she said deplorable and irredeemable. It turned out it was the opposite, deplorable. I didn't care, but the deplorable was bad. Remember that? And all of a sudden, everybody's showing up. I am deplorable. Everyone. That was not Marjorie. A great statement that she made. I didn't think it was going to blow up like that. It, was just business. One word misspoken at a rally, and I don't use a teleprompter much, which I can respect, frankly, because if I did. Because if I did, you'd be bored stiff. You'd be walking out of here by now. You'd say, oh, this is pretty boring. But it's fraught with danger when you don't use a teleprompter. Because one word and your political career is over. One little word misplaced, one little anything. Think of it. And isn't it great to have a guy that doesn't need to look at a teleprompter at all, right? I don't need to. But that's why I say with Kamala, she can't make it without even with the teleprompter, she's no good. But she can't make it without a teleprompter. And if you're going to be in this business, 5%, I was telling somebody the other night, 5% of the time, teleprompters break. And outside, really bad, they blow off the stage, blow up, a lot of bad things. So if you're going to run for office, make sure you don't mind not using a teleprompter, because you're going to have a lot of times when they're not there. And that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting to see her not have the use of a teleprompter, but I hope it's going to be over very soon. I really do. I hope. And then I'm going to wish her well. I'm going to wish her well and hope we can say goodbye to her radical left lunatic policies. Kamala is now doing something much worse than what she was talking about. The newest line from Kamala and her campaign is that everyone who isn't voting for her is a Nazi. We're Nazis. You know, years ago, my father, I had a great father, he's a tough guy. He used to always say, never use the word Nazi. Never use that word. And it'd say, never use the word Hitler. Don't use that word. It's like, don't use. And then they say, he's a Nazi. I'm not a Nazi. I'm the opposite of a Nazi. I don't know. So my father always used to tell me, don't use the word, you don't ever use the word Nazi. And, you know, it's incredible now. The way they talk is so disgusting and just horrible, the way they talk. And they don't mean it even. They just want to do, you know, they think that they can sell. They've called me everything from a mad genius looking to take over the world to a very, very stupid person. I've covered from stupid to mad genius that will eventually succeed in taking over the world. Now, these are bad people. They've covered everything. Let's see, last week, he's tired. You know what, I've done this stuff now for 58 days in a row, and I don't even feel tired a little bit. Not even a little bit. And the thing that bothered me is she said it as she's taking yet another day off, you know. I said, you know, she's taking a day off. Like a couple of days ago, she took like 2 days off in a row. And I said, you know, you're running for something that's so important. And in terms of importance, it's like Super Bowl times 100, right? Super Bowl maybe times 1,000. You don't take days off. You go every single day. No, I'm not tired. And they knew I wasn't tired. They're always tired. I tell you, I'm very tired. There may be a time when I'll say that. But, you know, they said that was their thing. That didn't work out too. Actually, people got very angry. They said, the guy's gone 58 days in a row. He's still going like strong. And you would know in 2 seconds. If I was tired, you say, you know, he's tired. I'm not tired. I'm actually like enthused and inspired because we're close to winning this thing. We're close to winning it. We are very close to winning it, Bruce. This is the kind of outrageous rhetoric that has resulted in 2 assassination attempts in the last 3 months, probably. I could say that that's probably right. Our supporters are police officers, border agents, and I've had all of these people have endorsed me. Think of it. Virtually every police organization, sheriffs, law enforcement in the whole country. I just got, not that recently, I just got the largest group of police officers in the country, 400,000 police officers, endorsed me just a few months ago. Border Patrol, who would know better? They dealt with her. They said she never called. In almost 4 years, she was in charge. She never called Border Patrol. They just endorsed me, a couple of weeks ago. The most beautiful speech. Paul, the most beautiful speech. And he, you know, he said that not only is he a great guy on the border. He's the best president we've ever had. But he said that, and he said she's the worst president we've ever had, and she's the worst person in any border. She is what they said about her. And it's not that easy for them to be doing that. But the entire break, say what a wonderful guy I am, right, Bert? It's more important. Border Patrol, more important. They know. But union workers endorse me. Look at the Teamsters. The Teamsters, 62% of the Teamsters. Think of it. It's never happened before. The Teamsters. How about the firefighters union? Rank and file of the firefighters. They endorse. I don't think it's ever happened. And many people within unions, and a lot of people outside of the unions, and a lot of people, and because I'm going to bring businesses back to this country at levels that nobody has ever seen before. We're not going to let them sell to our people. And I was doing it already the last time, and then we had to take care of a thing called the China virus. We did a great job. Never got the proper credit for it, but that's okay. They gave me credit for the great economy. They gave me credit for wiping out ISIS, which everyone said would take years, and it took us a matter of weeks because our military is bad. They gave me a lot of credit, but they didn't give me credit for that. Nobody knew what the hell it was either. COVID, they call it COVID. I call it the China virus. But we're close to World War II because we have people in the White House that World War III. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I had World War II. I had World War II. I had World War II veterans. I didn't realize the word veteran afterwards. Thank you very much. But would those World War II veterans stand up? Because we have a couple here that are unbelievable. World War II. Thank you. The guy looks better than I look. He looks better than Trump. Thank you. Thank you. Great veterans. And we're closer to World War III than we've ever been. We've never been so close. And we're going to be closer yet because we have people that don't know what they're doing unless we win. But even then you have a period of time before January 20th. And we're going to win this thing. We got to win this thing. And if we don't win it, we're not going to have a country. It's not going to be good. It's going to be a big, fat, beautiful. But Kamala is labeling more than half of the country as the enemy combatants, and she's calling them all fascists and Nazis, okay? But she's a fascist, okay? She's a fascist. How can Kamala Harris, and I don't use the name too much because nobody knows who the hell I'm talking about when I say Harris. If I said, how come Harris? And people look around, who is Harris? Kelly, they say, who is Harris? How can Kamala Harris lead America when she probably hates Americans because that's her ideology? She destroyed San Francisco. She's a very incompetent person running for president, Joe Biden, and who's losing in the polls. She's losing in the polls. The fake news doesn't want to tell you that. The fake news. That's why we have to make it too big to rig, please. Too big to rig. And she and her group of very bad people are truly a threat to democracy. They're a threat. In less than 4 years, Kamala Harris has shattered our middle class. She cast the deciding votes that launched the worst inflation in your lifetime. Some say the worst inflation in the history of our country, by the way. She cost a typical American family over $30,000 in just higher prices alone. She killed 50,000 manufacturing jobs this year alone. 50,000. And you know what she does? She lies. She does ads. Donald Trump wants to close down Social Security. I want to close down Social Security. Just the opposite. I'm the one that's going to make Social Security strong again. We're going to make it strong again. She's going to close it down. And you know why she's going to close it down? Because all of the millions of people she's allowing into the country want to go into Social Security, Medicare, all this stuff. It's going to be worthless. She's going to close it down. But she does ads the exact opposite. Take anything. Oh, Donald Trump will raise taxes. No, no. I'm the one that's lowering taxes. She's the one that's raising taxes. They lie. I find her worse than Hillary. I find it worse. I see these ads and it's so, and I go to my people, you have to do a countering ad because she said that I was gonna get rid of Social Security. Can you imagine? All I do is talk about, I will not touch social, and I'm not gonna touch it. I'm not gonna touch Social Security. You deserve that Social Security. We have liquid gold under our feet. We don't have to play games with great people. But I'm not going to destroy it by putting tens of millions of people into it, and then it is going to be destroyed. They're going to destroy the country, maybe even more importantly. Nearly 7 million men in their prime working age are missing from the labor force. Do you know that? They're not here anymore. They're not in the labor force anymore. Nobody knows that. The fake news never reports that. Now Kamala wants to raise the typical family's taxes by nearly $3,000 a year and impose a 33% tax hike on all years. Your family will frankly never recover. You're never going to recover. You know how long it actually took? 1929, it took many, many years. You know, they thought they recovered in the 1940s, and it took all the way to the 50s to recover. It took years and years to recover. And that's what you're going to have. You're going to have a 1929 style depression. If I win, we will, and we're going to do this very fast. We're going to quickly build the greatest economy that the world has ever seen. We had that 4 years ago. We actually had that. We will rapidly defeat inflation, and very simply, I will make America affordable again. You know, the biggest thing I hear is groceries. You know, like when I was telling you before about the men and women sports, I never hear that, but I hear about groceries. It's sort of basic too. I hear about groceries. They're so expensive. A woman goes to this is an anecdote, but that happened. A woman goes to the store with 3 apples, an old woman, and then she sees the price of the apples and she brings one back. That shouldn't be America. That should not be America. And that's what's happening too. I will massively cut taxes for workers and all small businesses, and we will have no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security benefits for our seniors. And I've just announced last night at Madison Square Garden. Did anybody watch last night? That was good. But just announced that I will support a tax credit, full tax credit, for family caregivers who take care of a parent or a loved one. They deserve it. And they add so much to our country, and nobody speaks about them, but they do. It's a big factor, and a lot of people ask me about that, and I think it's fair because we have so many different ways to make money. We have so many ways. And we're going to bring Elon in. Anybody can land a rocket the way he landed that sucker. You got to be, it's like a 20-story building, right? That thing is coming in. I'm talking to somebody. I said, hold it. Very important person. I said, hold it. Boom. That was the last I spoke to him. Coming down. They said, oh, it's going to crash. It's going to crash into the gantry. I said, oh. And then those engines kicked in and the fire and the flame starts pouring out of the left side and starts pushing it over. And it comes down and those big, beautiful arms hugged it like you hugged your child. See? See, that could have been a very embarrassing moment, right, Bert? He said, oh, that's so nice. He said, thank God. He said, child, like you hug your child. That was good. But it's true. It's true. How beautiful was that, right? So he doesn't need to be a secretary. He doesn't want to be secretary. He wants to be a man that can cut costs, have you live even better. You're not going to be affected. But I think he said $2 trillion. And nobody would do it better than him. And he's going to do it very responsibly. And we have to, it's amazing that, he just wants the country. That's why he reversed ship. Right? No, he's been campaigning. He's been campaigning in Pennsylvania since he landed the rocket ship, Think of it. You think he'd have a lot of other things, but he thinks it's the most important thing he can do because he knows that if we keep going in the way we're going with these people that are terrible people, that our country is finished. It's literally finished, and he knows that. And I think he's incredible. I think he's a real patriot, actually, if you want to know the truth. But I'll also make interest on car loans. This is great for Detroit, Michigan, also good for South Carolina and a lot of places that do cars. You do a lot of car parts, some things. You do a lot here. But we'll make interest on car loans fully tax deductible, but only, here's a hitch, but only if the cars are made in America. If they're not made in America. That's pretty good, Marjorie, right? Good one, right? I got called from a lot of big people in Wall Street. I call them the 180 was 100 deductibility. Actually, when I went out with it was 2 weeks ago in Detroit. But then I said, wait a minute, it doesn't help us if we're buying a car from Japan. Why would we do the deductibility? But we'll do it if you build the car in Detroit or any place in the United States, we'll do it. So we get deductibility. You know how many cars that's going to produce? I think it's going to produce a lot, and they're going to be built in the U.S., and that's what we want. I will cut a record number of job-killing regulations, and we will end Kamala's insane electric vehicle mandate, which not everybody wants an electric car. Not everybody wants them, and they're great, Elon does the best. I mean, he does unbelievable with the electric, but it's meant to be a market. There's some, I think they're amazing, but they don't go far enough. Little things like that, they don't go far enough. And they are expensive. And cars, because they're extremely dangerous. You're not recognizable if something goes wrong. If something goes wrong and Marjorie Taylor Greene with that beautiful blonde hair is driving down the highway in a hydrogen car. And the problem with a hydrogen car, if something goes off, you're not recognizable. But they say, we think we have it under control. That's not good enough. They'll say, we thought it was Marjorie Taylor Greene riding down the middle of the turnpike, but she's no longer recognizable. We found some of her. I won't say. We love her. Stand up. Marjorie, stand up. She's not, I will not let her get into a hydrogen car. She wouldn't do it anyway. Months, we're going to cut them in half, 50%, 50%. That's going to bring down everything. That'll use what we have. It's ridiculous. We get it from Venezuela. We get tar. I call it Venezuela. To bring back millions of jobs, we will give our companies the lowest taxes, the lowest energy cost, the lowest regulatory burden. That says, great.